Hey everyone, this is Stephen Ament. Welcome to my Exercism.io series. In this video, I will be working through the high scores exercise on the Ruby track. So let's see. The objective is to manage a game player's high score list. Your task is to build a high score component of the classic Frogger game. All right, let's see. So what do we do? Write methods that return the highest score from the list, the last added score, and the three highest scores. In this exercise, you're going to instantiate a class and add some instance methods. Okay, high score accepts an array with one or more numbers, each representing one game score. The array class offers inspiration for working with arrays, so we can look that up. Okay, and so we might take a look at the documentation there and see what we can do. But let's go ahead and just download this and start running it and see what it's all about. Well, you know what? It'll help if we go into the directory. We need to open another pane here for our tests. Let's see what we got with our tests. All right, we got several tests here with arrays. And okay, let's just run it. Of course, this is going to fail because we have no file highscores.rb. .rb, run it again. It will fail due to the constant being missing. High scores. And now it's going to fail because the initializer does not accept an argument. So let's go ahead and create that. Initialize scores, and that's going to get us past there to our first actual. So it's expecting 30, 50, 20, 70. There we go. That's going to be enough to make the first test pass. You know, again, you might say, aren't you cheating? Well, maybe, but not if my tests actually define the behavior I want. Let's see how far we get actually just by woodenly implementing these these expected results. I have a feeling this might be one where we actually have to go in and do more than the tests are calling for. But I like to see how far I can get this way. Latest. You'll notice that I try to keep my instance methods in alphabetical order. That's just a personal preference for organizing them. I don't know that's necessarily the best way. I just know that when I come back in, it's going to help me find everything. So yeah, clearly we don't have enough tests yet because I'm able to get away with quite a bit here. Personal best. Hopefully we'll have a set of tests here in a second that will challenge me to implement real behavior here instead of just like this. But you know what? So far, personal top 3. Here's another one. Goodness gracious, we're gonna get away with it again. Personal top 3. 100. Oh yeah, let's run it. Let the test guide, the failure guide you. It expects 100, 90, 70. Okay. So, you know, so far, the way the tests have been defined, we're just hard coding these results, and we're getting pretty far. But this test here on line 30 is finally, I think, going to force us to implement real behavior. So let's see. Yeah, it's expecting 30, 20, 10. But the actual was 190, 70. So what it's expecting is the top 3 of whatever it's been given. Is that correct? Personal top 3. You know what? Let's do this again. That's gonna, I modified the test there because I want to actually implement this. Let's store scores as they come in. And I'm going to go ahead and make sure I've got an array. In personal top 3, I want to sort, reverse, first 3. I think is what I want. And that's now going to pass. So both of the methods that call personal top 3 now pass. Okay, anybody else going to require, so this is going to work too. Okay. So personal top 3 is the only one that's actually forcing a real implementation. And so what do we say about this? You know, I've got 3 methods here that are returning hard-coded results. And clearly that's not the behavior that we really want for those. But what I would say is it's a deficiency in the tests. Because it's possible that the conditions are such that the only case we're ever going to have is 30. You know, maybe we don't have enough information to fully implement latest, but we know it's always going to return 30 right now based on some conditions. So, you know, we want to, we want to, you know, just, we want to defer that decision till later. So let's, we're going to do this again. I'm just going to extend these tests to force myself to really implement a solution. So this one should be 90. It's going to be 30. But, you know, this is enough here. So we used to do this when I would be pairing, and we would be doing a form of ping pong pairing where one person's writing the test, the other person's implementing the test. And so if my pair had written this this test on line 12, test latest score, expecting a 30, you know what, I would actually do this because the principle is you write the minimum amount of code to make the test pass. And so that would force them to write another test. So, you know, then in this case, because I now have that failing test, because I've got a hard-coded result, and really what I want to do is return that they should both be happy now. For actually driving out the development of what you've got, the development of your code, if you're going to be strict in your TDD, then you know, you're gonna want to have tests that actually force the functionality to be developed. All right, so we have a failure again because really what we want is scores max, right? And so scores again, scores, test lists of scores, different numbers. And so I'm going to show you a couple of things here of what I might do here. I might, so I'm doing this. Okay, that's just going to return scores. And so instead of this, what I really want is an adder reader. There we go, because it's literally just returning scores. Okay, so what do we say about this? I clearly was using a wooden implementation. Okay, actually, before I get too far, let's Let's submit this guy. Great. So what do we say about this? I followed a wooden TDD implementation where I literally wrote the minimum amount of code to make the test pass. So the question is, it's a little bit artificial, right? Because when I hard code 30 in there, because that's what the test expects, I'm saying you have to have 2 tests in there to really show that it's behaving the way it is. Well, is that ridiculous? Is that overkill? Maybe not though, because the one test by itself might actually not be revealing, it might be hiding something about the implementation, right? Whereas 2 tests with different numbers tell me that it's actually doing what I expect it to be doing. So, I added tests here to do that. Would I leave these forever? I don't know. Because I think when you're doing TDD, there are 2 reasons for your tests. One is to drive out the implementation, but those aren't necessarily the tests that you need to live forever. Is one of these enough now to tell me that the behavior is working and it hasn't broken? Probably. So I might actually come in here and delete those now. Those original tests still pass. I have the behavior in here that proves that they pass. And I've replaced all the hard-coded returns, with actual functionality. So the next question is, are we done? Let's take a look at these and let's read them and see if there's anything else we need to do. I've already normalized the input or sanitized the input by forcing it into an array, so that all of these methods in here can just assume we have an array. Latest just takes the last. I think that's pretty self-explanatory. It's pretty clear what that's doing. Personal best takes the max. Once again, it's like it doesn't get much simpler or clearer than that. I don't know. It's like we're giving scores.max the name personal best. That's pretty clear. Personal top 3. This is the one that we're doing multiple steps here. And, can we do something? Let's see. Can you do max 3? I don't know if that works. I'm just guessing. You can. But then you also want to sort it and reverse it. Do you need to do that? Let's see. What does max on an array do? If a number argument is given, the maximum n elements are returned as an array. Well, let's just see what it does. So in this case, personal top 3, are they sorted? They're not necessarily sorted. So if I remove sort reverse, what happens? It still works. So max by itself sorts them. Look at that. That seems to be enough. That seems to be doing what it's supposed to do. That's much clearer. Personal best returns 1. Personal top 3 returns max 3. Let's go ahead and submit that. Go check out our answer. The only difference being we're just taking max 3. And I'm going to go ahead and complete this solution and move on to the next one.